Good afternoon and welcome to Chargers Outside Zone. I'm Chuck,
I'm Thomas.
and today is our early look at the 2023 Kansas City Chiefs.
AKA the GIFs.
We just watched the first episode of The Bear,
Yes.
where they famously say yes, Jeff. So
Yes.
they're now the Kansas City Jeffs. Sweet.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, this is a father-son hobby where we focus on the team building the Los Angeles Chargers and on occasion the other three teams in the AFC West. We are not experts. We do not discuss gambling or betting, and we try to stay away from hot takes.
Unless there's a story about gambling and betting.
Yeah. So the first thing that we're going to take a look at is the big three topics that we talked about last year when we did our early look at the 2022 offseason moves of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
We kind of joked around initially, and we said, Tyreek.
They didn't need Tyreek.
And Tyreek had a great year in Miami. And,
Yeah.
and good for Tyreek and the
Good for
Dolphins. But the Kansas City Chiefs.
Did not need Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, and if you remember the draft class from last year, as a result of the Tyreek trade, yeah, there's some big names on it, and we'll probably look at those here upcoming.
Yeah.
But the big three topics that we did talk about: has the NFL solved Patrick Mahomes? I think we can emphatically say no.
No.
Moving on from Tyreek Hill, they were able to do that.
Yeah.
Mostly with Travis Kielce
Yes.
and some others. And no Honey Badger and no Melvin Ingram.
Did
I mean,
not need him.
Defense played well.
Yeah.
Probably not early in the season, but
Later in the season, yeah.
played just fine. And so I think the Honey Badger moved on to the Saints, where he got to play in his home state. And Melvin Ingram, I think he ended up with the Dolphins and did well. But the Chiefs seem to go on and do just fine.
Yeah.
When we look at the Chiefs' 2023 coaching staff, offensive coordinator, easy for me to say,
Yes.
Eric Bieniemy moved on to Washington to join the commander staff there with Ron Rivera. Matt Nagy, who was previously with the Kansas City Chiefs, then went to Chicago as the head coach of the Bears for 3-ish years.
Yeah.
Returned last season after he was fired and was a member of the staff. Obviously, Eric Bieniemy was the offensive coordinator. But with Bieniemy heading to Washington, Matt Nagy steps back in as the offensive coordinator.
Yes.
And defensively, Steve Spagnuolo is the defensive coordinator still, and Brett Veach the general manager. Andy Reid still the head coach. He will be in his 10th season at the helm in 2022, so guessing that makes 11th this year. So
Sure.
how long do we think Andy's got left? He doesn't seem to be slowing down, does he?
Well, that's going to be at the end.
Oh, okay, my bad. Let's just skip ahead then. You ready?
I thought we were going
Oh well.
to talk about that.
We'll see if it's not there. We'll talk about it anyways. How's
Yeah.
that sound? All
As
right.
our fourth big topic.
Our pre big topic or something. We'll figure it out
Yeah.
when we get there.
Yeah.
All right. So it says 2022. These are the 2023 offseason moves. They brought in edge Charles Omenihu, left tackle Donovan Smith, quarterback Blaine Gabbert, safety Mike Edwards, linebacker from the previously of the Chargers Drew Tranquill,
Yes.
defensive lineman Chris Williams from the Colts, defensive lineman Matt Dickerson, wide receiver Richie James, and right tackle Previously of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Jawan Taylor.
Who is Richie James?
Yeah, smallish wide receiver, punt returner.
I don't think. I don't.
Just a signing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that more. But those were the big moves in free agency. Orlando Brown is now with the Cincinnati Bengals. Frank Clark, we saw he just signed with the Denver Broncos. Juju Smith-Schuster moves on to New England. Carlos Dunlop. Andrew Wiley joins Eric Bieniemy in Washington with the Commanders. Chad Henne retired.
Yeah.
Guess he went out on top. He did play a critical role in that game against the Jaguars where Patrick Mahomes got injured, led them right down the field. And really, with Patrick going out, kind of stole the soul of the Jags there.
Yes.
Running back Ronald Jones II moved on. McCole Hardman is a Jet. Juan Thornhill a Brown. Kalen Saunders a Saint. And Darius Harris and Jordan Franks have both left the Chiefs. The Chiefs 2023 draft picks, would you like to know their names?
Yes.
It doesn't matter what their name is. We joke around because they really could have picked anybody as long as
they could have picked a Joe Schmo.
As long as you have Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. So in 2022, I have written up here, not as flashy as the 2022 class. And that's nothing against this class of 7 individuals. But with the Tyreek trade, you had Trent McDuffie, George Karlaftis, Sky Moore, Brian Cook, Leo Chenal, and Isaiah Pacheco. I mean, those are a lot of rookies last year that got a lot of snaps.
Yeah.
And, Trent McDuffie starting corner, George Karlaftis starting edge. Sky Moore is looking to play a bigger role. Leo Chenal's in a crowded inside linebacker room, but
yeah.
Brian Cook, I think, is slated to be their starting safety. And obviously, 7th round darling Isaiah Pacheco is their starting running back, and everybody fell in love with the way he ran the ball.
Yes.
And was able to get that championship ring with the rest of the Kansas City Chiefs as a rookie 7th round running back. But this class, headlined by defensive end Felix Anadike Uzama out of Kansas State. So he stays,
what a great story.
Stays in the Kansas area, I guess, moving to Kansas City, Missouri. But
yeah, what a great story.
So then Rashee Rice, lots of people were talking about him. Didn't have a great all-star game, whether it was the Shrine Bowl or the Senior Bowl. He kind of fell and ended up 55 to the Kansas City Chiefs, which isn't terrible for him. But let's see what he adds for the Chiefs as their 2nd round pick. 3rd round, Wanya Morris out of Oklahoma. Cornerback at 119 out of Virginia Tech, Chamari Connor. Edge, B.J. Thompson out of Stephen F. Austin. Round 6, pick 194, defensive tackle Keandre Coburn. And round 7, pick 250, cornerback Nick Jones out of Ball State. Yeah, I mean, as mentioned previously, just really not as flashy, but does it really matter who they pick?
No, it doesn't.
As we get into their 90-man roster, once again, this is the 2023. My apologies for not updating that at the top of the slide. But as mentioned, Patrick Mahomes appears to be the starting quarterback.
I
I guess they're expecting big things out of him.
Who is Patrick Mahomes? I hear a lot about Patrick Mahomes. Who's this rookie?
Well, I think he's now 6 years in or so, or however
So
many.
he's a 6-year rookie.
Chad Henne moves on. Blaine Gabbert comes in. Shane Buechele seems to be still on the roster. And then Chris Oladokin was on the practice squad there last year. At running back, Isaiah Pacheco, Jerick McKinnon re-signs. Clyde Edwards-Helaire seems to be more on the outside looking in, but maybe he has a resurgence there for them. LaMichael Pirine and Deneric Prince. So really, I think it's that 1-2 punch of Pacheco and McKinnon, right?
Sure.
They don't have a fullback. Michael Burton moved on.
Do they need one?
Apparently not. They do have a laundry list of tight ends. Travis Kielce, Noah Gray, Jody Fortson, Blake Bell re-signed and is coming back.
I heard
Kendall Blanton and Matt Bushman.
I heard Travis Kielce is a great podcaster.
Yeah, I'm sure he gets more traffic than we do
Yeah,
with him and his brother.
I'm kind of salty about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's much better at football than we are
And
much better at podcasting.
yeah.
All right. It's just Travis Kelce's world, and we're living in it, or however that saying goes.
Yes.
Wide receiver. So Marquez Valdez-Scantling returns.
Sure.
Sky Moore, his second year. I imagine they're looking for him to step up and play a bigger role. Kadarius Toney, they made that trade mid-season last year with the Giants, so they bring in speed there. Justin Watson got plenty of run and makes annoying catches because you think you have everything else covered, and then Justin Watson's open and you complete and Patrick Mahomes completes the pass.
Yes.
Yeah. The rookie Rashee Rice, Richie James Jr., Amir Smith Marset, Cornell Powell, John Ross, Justin Ross. Jerry and Ely is listed as a wide receiver / running back. Ty Freifogel, Kekoa Crawford, and Nikio Remigio. I mean, this is a crowded room.
This is a crowded room.
Yeah, so it'll get whittled down. There'll be plenty of 6 or 7 wide receivers that will develop and be on the team and catch passes from Patrick Mahomes, right?
Yeah.
Just that easy. The offensive line is retooled at tackle. As mentioned before, Donovan Smith comes over from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In the middle, Joe Tooney, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, they all return. And then you add free agent Jawan Taylor. Obviously, up the middle, they're very strong.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how Smith and Taylor
Fit.
round out this offensive line. And you can see here, Nick Allegretti, he's been around before, Lucas Niang, Austin Ryder. These guys have been there in Kansas City before. But it'll be interesting to see how the offensive line room
Fits together.
gets finalized there. But obviously the strength is the middle of that line, making those tackles better. Probably whoever those tackles are.
Yes.
Right? On the defensive side of the ball, Chris Jones, Derek Nottie are probably your interior defenders that are on the field most of the time, and then they'll try to get a rotation here. They bring in Danny Shelton, as mentioned before. Kalen Saunders moves on. Chris Jones is just such a beast up front.
Yep. Does it matter who's on the defense? Does it really matter?
Well, I mean, they're likely always playing from ahead.
Yeah.
So the defense, can get after the pass. And, sometimes if they don't have a lead, they're always within striking distance, right? So,
Yes.
Just, scheme it up Steve Spagnuolo and see what happens.
Yeah.
Defensive end-wise, George Karlaftis, as mentioned before, second-year guy, played well in year one as a rookie. Charles Omenihu comes over. They do have the draft pick Felix Anadike Uzama. You bored by? You're just bored by the Kansas City Chiefs defense, aren't you? Just because it just doesn't matter who's on that side.
Does not matter. It really doesn't.
Linebacker Nick Bolton, Willie Gay, Drew Tranquil, Leo Chenal. I don't know about top end, Fred Warner, Shaq Leonard. Nick Bolton has played really well. But at inside linebacker, this is, 4 deep. That's a pretty quality inside. I don't know if another team can run 4 deep. Maybe we saw a little bit of what Denver had, but I think their off-ball linebacker group is as good as this one.
I think Buffalo could run 4 deep.
Buffalo lost Tremaine Edmonds in free agency to the Bears, so he's no longer there.
But
maybe the Niners with Fred Warner, who it depends on who's there. We're not doing a Niners podcast at the moment, but at the end of the day, the off-ball linebacker position obviously is
a strength.
Is a strength, and they seem to prioritize it over maybe some other teams that choose not to. Cornerback L'Jarius Sneed should start with Trent McDuffie in his second year. Jalen Watson, Joshua Williams, they should get plenty of run. It's safety Justin Reed, and here you have Brian Cook replacing Juan Thornhill, and they brought in safety Mike Edwards, Deion Bush returning, and I don't think they'll have terrible amount of issues.
Yeah.
In that secondary. Specialist-wise, they return all 3 guys, Tommy Townsend, Harrison Butker,
No one wanted
James Winchester.
No one wanted a Super Bowl winning kicker and punter.
Well, I think all these guys decided to return as well. They decided to continue to do business with the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a decent specialist group, obviously, with Townsend and Butker. Butker was injured last year, but I'm sure he's looking to return to form.
No one wanted a Super Bowl kicker and punter.
Well, if you're these guys and you're getting paid by the Kansas City Chiefs, and are you going to look elsewhere for greener pastures?
I would try for the money.
Yeah, where are you going to find greener pastures than where they are?
I would try for the money.
All right.
Yeah.
So our big 3 topics this year. Change of OCs. Will it matter? I think you have Andy Reid there, obviously Patrick Mahomes. You can create the structure, and if the structure breaks down, he can create outside of that structure.
I think it does matter.
Okay.
For the only reason is because of friendships.
Okay. Well, but Matt Nagy's returning. He's been there before. He was there last year, but he was there before.
Yeah, but
I don't
really. How good is he at
I don't anticipate the Kansas City Chiefs
calling plays?
Yeah, I think Andy. He's still
there, but
holds the keys to the offense.
Yeah.
And he's done very well adapting over time, thinking back to how long he's coached the Philadelphia Eagles and into the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes.
He's consistently had top offenses throughout his coaching career.
Yes.
And it's adapted. Obviously, you have the the
I would really like the same offensive-
otherworldly quarterback in Patrick Mahomes that
Yes.
covers up a lot of warts and flaws, maybe. But yeah, so probably won't matter all that much.
But my assumption is it will matter just
Because of friendships.
look. Well, yes.
Friendship is important.
Yeah.
All right. Number 2. How much longer for Travis Kielce? I mean, there was no steps backward last year. He played well. Big numbers.
Yes.
Always.
But he's getting up there in age.
He's like 33, 34, so we'll see. His older brother's still playing.
Yeah.
So we'll see if Father Time starts to catch him this year, but I imagine what do you got? Like 5 more years?
I got like 6 more.
6?
5 or 6.
Yeah. So Travis Kielce will be annoying us for another at least 5 to 6 years. Great.
Yeah. Great.
All right.
Awesome.
Managing the large contracts. So Brett Veach, Clark Hunt, Andy Reid, they signed Patrick Mahomes to that 10-year, $450 million deal that rolls over and becomes guaranteed every year.
Yeah.
Some magical accounting somehow. But, when does Patrick...
We're not accountants, by the way.
When does Patrick Mahomes take a look at the contracts of Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, soon to be Joe Burrow, and Justin Herbert, and say, "Hey, I've won 2 Super Bowls already. I should probably be paid more than those guys."
Well, he doesn't care about money. Did
Okay.
you hear about the interview?
Okay, I did not.
He didn't. He doesn't care about the money.
Okay,
He
so
wants to win.
45 is good enough for him. So he's going to be
That-
quiet.
That's what he says now.
He's going to be quiet, and he's just going to take his 45 a year and
I
be
don't
happy.
know. I don't know.
All right.
But
Well, I'm sure he makes plenty of money in endorsements and outside
yeah,
of his $45 million a year.
yeah.
Apparently, he has listed his house for sale,
In
and it was only
City.
like a $3 million house or something like that. So they must have been in that place for a little while, and I'm sure they're.
So he's moving.
I'm sure he's moving somewhere in Kansas City.
He's got so much money.
That he's just just time
Maybe
to
maybe buy a fixer upper.
unique fixer upper like we did.
Yeah.
I imagine he's a little bit smarter than that, but okay. But not only do you have the $45 million a year that it's going to be difficult to hide, and reduce salary cap because it is just straight $45 million a year, or however it lays out. You have Kielce, but then Chris Jones. Chris, I think, is looking maybe he's not as happy as Patrick is with the paycheck that he takes home. But I think Brett Veach and the staff have to continue to juggle a few large contracts here, and then last year's draft was really important. Keep those guys coming through on rookie contracts, and not any top end wide receivers that are going to command huge paychecks. And so there is some work to be done keeping talent around Patrick Mahomes, but if you got him, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
And then the fourth thing you wanted to add was how much longer for Andy Reid. And there's really no signs of him slowing down. I don't see that in any of the conversations on Twitter or.
I don't. But he's also getting up there in age.
Yeah.
How long?
Been doing it a really long time. I don't think he's Bill Belichick old or
How
Pete
long?
Carroll old, but I think
Well-
he's catching up to those areas.
Well,
close to
how
him.
much is left on his contract?
I don't know. I didn't look it up. But I'm guessing, he's good for at least another 3 to 5 years, like Travis Kielce. See how far they can run this thing. See if he can.
I'm going to at least give him 3.
Yeah, probably a good call.
4's probably pushing it.
So, I guess the moral of the story is the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be annoying this year coming up,
And multiple years.
and annoying for the foreseeable future.
Yes.
All right.
We didn't need to make this video to tell you.
Probably not, but we just wanted to review the roster, go through the process, see how it.
Trust the process.
Yeah, trust the process and build upon it for next year. And as we look at their 53-man roster come cut down day on August 29th.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and get out of here. Do us a favor on Twitter. Follow us at LAC Outside Zone. On this YouTube channel, Chargers Outside Zone, please subscribe, like, and turn on notifications.
And share.
And share. Yeah. Sharing is caring.
Yeah.
Find us on our website at chargersoutsidezone.com and email us chargersoutsidezone@gmail.com. And we will try to put out episodes every Tuesday and Saturday for y'all.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend. Take care.
Bye.